Oh, man. Wouldn't it be so nice if we could just hang out poolside every day and not, like, have to go to work and just be able to do our stuff like, right here?
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't have to get up and head into the city right now, that would be awesome. But, like, how could we keep doing podcasts if we just confine ourselves to the backyard?
It'd be great if somebody just, like, showed up out of the blue.
Man, wouldn't it?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. Was that the knock?
I hear those guys sawing next door. Eck?
No way.
Dennis Eckersley's here!
Meet us in the gazebo!
With authority!
Hi, this is Dennis Eckersley, and I'm going to bring you some hard cheese with authority.
With authority!
One of the best things about the job that we have is to talk with people who are the best of all time. And so to have Dennis Eckersley sitting here in the gazebo
Yes.
is
Gazebo.
fantastic. Hall of Famer. Baseball fans know and love you. So first of all, thanks because we just happened to randomly run into each other at the gym, and it was so strange because I haven't seen you. I've seen you on TV a lot, doing Red Sox games and appearances for the A's, but I haven't seen you in person for a long time. And our eyes just locked, and we were both like, "What are you doing here?" And like, "You're working out."
Yeah.
And
it's really so weird because, I used to live here 30 years ago. Right, Blackhawk in this area, as you know. And so to go back to that time, it's like time stands still. It really does, And then to know all that's transpired in the last 30 years and to be in the situation in the Bay Area is kind of strange anyway. And to see you, it just brings you back. It's almost like nothing ever happened. You can go right back to that time. Because that was probably the best time of my life. Really.
Yeah.
Those years.
It was a great time for A's fans, too.
Yeah.
But I just want to say one thing because it's just like, and it's this aura that you have about you. I know you probably heard this a million times, but I'm just seeing this guy who I recognize sort of from a distance, and he's got like incredible Hollywood hair and the dark tan and all this, and he's just finished working out, so he's all jacked up, and I'm like, come on, it's been 30 years.
I'm hanging on,
You're still
man.
with the tan and everything.
That's hard to do.
You just, you look just like you walked out of like GQ magazine. What is this deal with you? How do you do this?
I tell you, it's like fighting to stay young. It's and I think everybody's like that in a way. You just don't want it. You just want to lose it. You just want to lose it. And being competitive and always wanting to work out anyway. You know what I mean? I'm in. And it becomes like this mission, this never-ending mission of trying to stay in shape and trying to not lose your stuff. It's like
the moss.
The moss, exactly.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah, it's I'm vain. I'll admit it. You know what I mean? I'm hanging on, man.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you actually, when he told me the story about running into you, he said you kind of just glided across the gym.
I don't think you were walking.
I
thought you were on a cloud or something. You floated by me.
But I was saying excellent moss, and I know that you have so many different baseball expressions that you're using. Most of them you came up with yourself. So
I guess.
I mean, the moss is the hair, right?
Yeah.
And then you have all the different kinds of cheese,
yeah,
which we could probably run through in a moment. But the crazy thing to me was, I followed your career pretty closely. I grew up watching those teams that you played for, and I didn't know that you had actually come up with the term walk-off home run.
No, and I really don't want it.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Well, the circumstances of the situation were not ideal.
Yeah, because automatically they're going to say, oh, yeah, But, there's a lot of terms that I think a lot of guys over the years, you sort of, all the jargon that you get from everybody else. It's accumulation of stuff. And, some of the stuff that I say. And it's funny when even new stuff comes out. Like last year, I got into this thing where I was dropping, like, if a guy punches out, looking, it was like a pair of shoes. The guy's a pair of shoes. And I don't know if somebody said that before or not. Right?
I've never heard that.
Have you ever heard that?
Probably not.
Never.
I said, next thing you know, I'm dropping shoes on everybody. There's a pair of shoes, another pair of shoes. And so it's funny how things just pop up over, I don't know, doing games.
But how did you come up with all of the different, like, do you know how many different variations of cheese you use in a broadcast?
I try to stay. I don't want to do too much of it because people get tired of it. But it's just part of my vocabulary. You know what I mean? But all that cheese stuff. There's a guy that that gets credit for this. His name is Pat Dobson. I remember him. He was
pitcher.
one of the 420 game winners.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And I was good friends with him. I played with him in 76, 77 with the Indians. And a lot of it came from him. All of the cheese and the, educated cheese and the.
We should explain for people that don't know. Like, cheese obviously is a fastball. Everybody. But educated cheese is
like, maybe it's only not hot. It's not 95, but it's when to throw it, right?
Smart.
So
it's smart cheese.
Smart cheese.
Yeah.
It's pretty
when
simple.
to throw it, where to throw it.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how it all sort of goes.
Now, I know in your Hall of Fame speech you gave a shout out to Dwayne Kuiper and Ray Fosse, who you played with in the Indians, and now they're some of the biggest broadcasters in baseball, as are you. So, like, back then, were you guys talking about future careers in broadcast? How did they help you maybe when you wanted to change the profession into broadcasting?
I never thought of it but Kuip did it right away.
Yeah.
Kuip played 10, 12 years in big leagues, and we broke in together in '75.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. We look back at that team. Maybe Fosse was there in '76, but it was me. Manning does the Indian games. Kuip, me, Foss, and Larry Anderson. Remember Larry Anderson does Philadelphia stuff, right?
Kuip lives 5 minutes away. We could get him
We
for
should
the
call
podcast.
him
We should call him up, get him over here right
Get
now.
the fourth mic.
Yeah.
I love Kuip. We have coffee, which has been great this off season. Every Monday or something, we have coffee. And to go back in time, I remember things that I didn't know I could remember because I was 17 out of high school, and I played with him in Reno. And then I started, stuff starts coming out. We start talking. It's like, wow. He was like the old man because he came out of college. So, the gap when you're 17 and somebody's 21, it's my God, it's like he's an old man. But I love Kuip, and he's like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
The broadcasts are fantastic. So if we go, we're going backwards here. Let's go backwards. When you were growing up in Fremont, you were a multi-sport star.
Slamming it.
Yeah. Can you still dunk? You still
No,
dunk?
God, no.
Come on. I just thought I'd throw it.
Maybe
out.
on
I
the
could
pool
say
hoop over
anything
there.
I want.
Yeah. We actually have a mini hoop
that's what I'm
at the
saying.
back of that
I
pool.
can
You
dunk
can
on
throw it
that.
down.
can slam
We
it.
actually thought about doing the podcast on an inflatable in the pool. Because
That could be Bronson.
Yeah, exactly. That would be perfect for
Yeah,
you. You want to talk about branding. We need to, after
great.
this, we'll come with the whole branding
Yeah.
thing for Instagram for
Yeah.
you. But, so, like, you pitched for many years, and then I want to focus on the A's because when they acquired you, Tony La Russa obviously has admitted he had no idea he was getting what would be a Hall of Fame closer.
No, neither did I.
If not for a particular injury, which sometimes happens in sports, you might have never gotten that opportunity to become the Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley.
I know.
Isn't that nuts?
It's totally crazy.
Can you take us back to that?
I'll tell you what I could take back to is a good story before, because this is 2 weeks before I got traded to the A's in spring training of '87.
Okay.
And I had a bad back in spring training, this and that. So anyway, I was coming along slowly. And so, in spring training, you have to have a pitch count. Whether you get knocked around or not, you've got to get your 80 pitches in. So anyway, I'm pitching against the A's. I'm with the Cubs, and they're lighting me up. And I've given up 5 runs already. I'll never forget Canseco hit a double off the wall, and he's on second base. Nobody out, 5-0. I'm just trying to get my work in. Next pitch, he takes off for third. They foul it off. I look up, Canseco saying, "Where are you going? It's 5-0. He goes, "I didn't do it." He points into the dugout. It's Tony. Tony goes, "I told him to go." And I went, and he felt like this, and it was like, I don't think he liked me.
It's a spring training
Yes.
game.
And I don't think he liked me anyway. I don't know. We didn't have any history. So anyway, 2 weeks later, I'm coming into his. I get traded, and I come into his office. Man, there, what I mean? And then it's history since then.
But how did you get past the moment? Like, did you talk about it? Like, hey, you remember?
Not really.
No.
And I tell that story now, and he laughs, because we've got a bunch of them now. But I never forgot that, But he's intense, man. Tony was always competing, man. Spring training, whatever.
Well, that's what he said about you, is that he got a scouting report, I forget who it was, who said the one thing you will love about Eck is whenever he takes the mound, whether it's a spring training game, a playoff game, a game on a backfield that nobody's paying attention, he's always locked in and intense.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. It's just I can't do it any other way. You know, we could get deeper into all this stuff because there's sort of a fear thing that kicked in with me. There's always that fear of failure. So you never want to. You always want to be on your toes. You could take it. You could go too far, and it's tiresome. But that's what it is. You know what I mean?
So it's not so much that you're looking to succeed. It's more fear. You're driven by fear of failure.
Yes, and it's like a relief when you do well. You know, that's why I was so demonstrative too.
Yeah, like the fist bump.
Yeah,
Is that
you
where
know,
that
I get
came
people
out of?
pissed off, man, at me for that. But you know, that was real. That wasn't, you know, I think I'll punch this guy out and do a little moon dance. No, it was like real stuff. It was like, the game to me was sometimes like life or death, you know? So I took it hard, and I celebrated hard, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I saw a quote from you where you said, "When you're nervous, you are alive."
Yeah.
And you also expressed that when your career was over, and you played more than 2 decades, that it was kind of relief to not be which to me, I was really shocked when I saw that, because I thought, man, if I had your skill, I would go down to the last ounce that I had.
Yeah, but you lose that skill. When you're 42, 43, I said, God, I got to get out of here, because you don't want to go that. We don't want to drop off like that, you know? So the last couple of years were difficult.
So
But you know, you talking about that being alive and that nervousness. It's like TV again. Here we go again. You know.
But you're great on television.
I know, but it doesn't matter. Does you know that edge you have to have?
Yes.
I think you can't just say, "Hey, what's going on? Let's do some TV." I mean, you've got to be
up,
up,
energy level high.
You do.
Yeah.
If we want to stay on mentality a little bit, I know that Raleigh Fingers, for example, said as a starting pitcher, he had trouble knowing that this was his day to go, like the whole lead up to it. But then as a reliever, he found it a lot, you know, more comfortable just to know, I don't have to worry. I'm just going to go in anytime. You know, did you find that, I mean, you were a 20-game winning starting pitcher. Did you find that the mentality shift from starter to closer helped you, just kind of knowing on any given day I could be out there and not having to worry about the whole week and leading up to this one specific moment?
I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it does lead up that one big day, and it's your day. Everybody looks at you like, oh, careful.
Yeah, no one will talk to you or anything, right?
That sort of stuff. But that's the greatest job in the world if you can do it. Once every 5 days, they pay you $1 million to start nowadays, right? But you have to. I mean, there's the difficulty to a lot of things. Obviously, trying to get guys out 3 or 4 times in the lineup. But I know what Raleigh's problem is. He probably didn't have success right away, and then he flipped, you know, and so he can't look back. I mean, he didn't have a chance to do, you know, what I established himself. Maybe he did the right thing, but I took to the fact of being an everyday guy. You know, it's kind of neat. After you started so many years, you know, just because you're not going to pitch that day, you're just hanging. There's zero nervousness. You're not going to pinch run. Right. You're not doing nothing. You're just hanging. And it's, you know, for me, at about 32, 33, I flipped, and then I was like an everyday player. I mean, you are got an edge. You're alive again.
You're alive
every day. You're like, you know. So and I liked that, but after a while it got to you too, because you know it got to you because you're not throwing the same anymore, and at that level, I mean, it's, you know, devastating when you stink, you know.
So let me ask you about the whole demonstrative thing, because baseball has like an encyclopedia of unwritten rules. One of the unwritten rules for many years was like you don't show up another guy, you don't do the fist pump, you don't, you know, point your finger and all that stuff. In the past few years, and I think, you know, part of it is a cultural thing, where, you know, players, if they grow up that way, then that's, you know, the bat flip and all of that.
Yeah.
Do you like the bat flip or hate the bat flip?
Well, we're talking about let the kids play, all right?
Right.
That's what we're talking about. Let the kids play now. So I've got to be careful I'm not a hypocrite and say, you know, God, I don't play that. That's tired. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, I'm out there punching guys out.
All right.
But, you know, I don't know. I look back at it when I did it. I'm getting off the topic here, but when I look back at it, and I wasn't, you know, I wish I hadn't done it sometimes. I mean,
really?
Yeah, because I'd get away from it, and I'd go, oh, geez, I wish I didn't do that. But then I'd go out again, and it would happen again.
So it was all natural to you.
Yes.
You weren't, it was just an explosion of emotion.
Yeah, but
like
anyway.
this dog behind us here that's on the other side of the fence.
It's demonstrative.
Yes. Did you have a lot of guys tell you, hey, I
don't
really
like
don't like that?
Uh-huh.
You did?
Yeah.
And you were just like, Yeah.
I'll never come good friends with Jim Palmer, of all people.
Okay.
Right? So Jim, I pitched a game against him, and I punched out 12, 13 guys or something. I lost, and he won. But I was on it, man. I was punching guys out. A pair of shoes, a lot of shoes.
Lots of shoes.
Out
Little shoe
there.
store.
Yeah. And he told me the next day, he said, hey, because he was, I was just like 22 at the time or something like that, and he was like this, Jim Palmer.
Right.
He said, hey, man, you got to mellow out, man. These guys don't play that, like they're going to try harder to beat me. I mean, you know what I mean? So I took the, I took the advice, but I couldn't. It's just.
It's who you were.
I know. So anyway.
Have you seen recently in spring training? I mean, they're doing broadcasts now where they're like miking up everybody.
I saw that.
I don't know that it's something that's sustainable, but I think it's in a way getting you more into the personalities in the game, because I think right now, we talk about this sometimes. I mean, Mike Trout could walk down Market Street.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people would stop him, to be honest. So do you think something like that could be good for the game, or more celebrations? I mean, how do you get the younger people involved?
I mean, I guess you're trying to see the real guy, right? Or
Yeah.
something. The inside stuff. Haven't they always wanted to do that inside
Sure.
stuff? I don't think I don't think they can do that. I mean, once it's the games are for real, the guys aren't playing that.
You don't want to be mic'd up on the mound when having
Yeah.
pitches going,
Yeah.
you're going to throw a slider? What's the next pitch?
Yeah.
Oh, that well,
you need
actually,
to be mic'd up with the catcher is what you need to do.
Well,
So
that
they don't
actually
have
kind of
to-
naturally leads us into
Yeah.
a sign stealing conversation,
Yes,
since guys
exactly.
know what's being thrown.
Yeah.
How yeah, does that
That's a curveball.
bang
Yeah.
on- okay. So, from a pitcher's standpoint, let's say when you're a starter and you got 4 pitches that you're throwing, how much of an advantage is it for the batter to know? Yeah, the expression on your face.
Yeah.
Well, I could see a difference between fastball and a curve, because you could wait on the curve, right?
Yes. So, I mean, think about this. In spring training, when you start to get your arm in shape, right? You go to throwing on the side, then you throw with a screen. I don't know if they still do that. You throw with a screen,
Yeah.
right? And then duck, And then once you take the screen and then you're ready to really get into it, it's like, if you want a screen there, it's like protects you because they know what's coming.
Gotcha.
Okay, take the screen away. I ain't telling you what's coming because think about it. Guys looking fastball, or first of all, fastball. I mean, these guys crush fastballs. Maybe with a good breaking ball, even though they know it's coming, they'll have a tough time to hit it. Or maybe sometimes they think it's coming, they'll swing at it wherever it is just because they know what it is. But guess what? You don't want them to know what's coming. I mean, these are big league hitters.
So
They don't need any help at all. So you're going to get hurt.
if you had to just put a number on it, if I'm a 250 hitter, am I a 310 hitter if I know what's
I
coming?
would think so.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Everybody's.
So I could hit. I'm not going to hit.
Everybody can hit. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. It is. I mean, you can locate. I mean, if you locate something, they're going to have a harder time hitting it. But they still know what it's coming.
Yeah, I saw.
I'd love to know. I could have known what was coming. I was.
How many home runs did you hit in your career? I know you
If
had
you
hit in
want
the
to talk
NL.
about home runs, I hit 3.
Yeah,
but,
so you had 3.
but I was just bailing. If they made a mistake, I'm going to run into one.
So you were not the Madison Bumgarner of your time.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Well,
Yeah.
so all right, I want to go over
Yeah.
some stats here, because some of the numbers are just insane. 1990, you had more saves than base runners allowed.
Yeah.
You had 48 saves. You only allowed 41 hits and 4 walks. You had an ERA of 0.61, and you gave up 5 runs for the entire season. So my question is, what happened with the 5? What, bad day or two? What?
You know what that is? It's like, I've always said, it was magic, first of all. It really was. It wasn't like I'm throwing 100 miles an hour, right? I mean, I'm not like they do today, punching out, 14, 15 guys per 9 innings. I mean, I was good and lucky.
Oh, come on.
No, because it's only a small part
You
of
were
the game.
great and maybe a
But
little
good and lucky makes great.
Okay, all
See,
right.
that's what I'm getting at. And, it's one of those years. Everything happened. Everything was perfect, And you could be perfect. I mean, when you're a starting pitcher, you got to be careful. You can't give somebody something to hit like that. In other words, you can't not walk people when you start. And I didn't do that either when I started, but I gave up a lot of home runs. I mean, you're around the plate, you're going to give it up. But anyway, back to that year. It was just one of those years. And then all of a sudden, I lost a game in the World Series when it counted. So, was it Joe Oliver hit little thing down the line and we lost in Cincinnati or something. You know what I mean? In some of the years that I had, some of the good years I had, I'd give it all up if we would have won the damn thing. Whether it's the Gibson home run or the Alomar home run in '92, that '92 home run hurt more than the Gibson home run.
Why?
We didn't get to the World Series. You know, it was huge. And this guy, Roberto Alomar, is one of the greatest players, I think, that ever played. I mean, he's a great player. But that one hurt. And I won the MVP and the Cy Young that year. I'll give it up. I mean, I had a miserable offseason, and I got those awards. It was awful, you know? So the magic went away, you know?
How do you deal with that? Because baseball's a game that's based on failure, really. I mean, if you could go 3 for 10 as a hitter, you could be in the Hall of Fame. When you have these dramatic moments, how do you put that away in your brain?
You don't. It'll humble you. I've been humbled. You know, we talk about punching guys out and all that stuff like that. Hey, great. I've been humbled too, man. I've seen both sides of that. You know, I've had to eat it. You know, and I ate it, and it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. I've been doing this. I had to throw out the first ball with Gibson at the World Series. Was that last year? The year before? Whatever it was.
How awkward was that?
Wasn't at all, because I know him. You know, and he's in a bad way now too. And he's
health-wise, right?
Health-wise, and I really have a lot of feeling for him. You know. Even though I hated him when he did it, you know. But, 30 years later, here we are, kissing cousins, man.
It's forever linked in time in a weird way.
It is. So, I don't know. It just stays with you. It does not go away. And, people look at me. I said for the longest time, people look at you and say, hey, I didn't know. I thought my name was Gibson for goodness. Hey, Gibson! Yeah, that stuff stays with you.
Well, people would say that?
Oh, yeah, but this is not now.
Okay.
But for a long time, you got to wear it, man. I wore it.
But your story has been one of perseverance, and you look at that moment, obviously, that stays with you forever. Then the next season, the ball's in your glove for the final out of the World Series. So, I mean, that's got to be an incredible...
That helped a lot.
Yeah. I mean, what does that do for you?
And that almost didn't happen because the World Series normally never start, maybe not have started back.
Yeah, the earthquake.
Yeah, I mean, So I feel, and then we go in my old gig I was a kid, Giant fan, Candlestick Park. I got the ball last out, so it does make up for that. Only had to wait a year. What if it never came? I never would have won a World Series. And I had to sit with that Gibson thing your whole.
Yeah.
So it was helpful the next year.
But what I love is you're able to smile about it when you talk about it. I'm sure there were a lot of times where you weren't smiling about it, like right immediately after.
Yeah, it was tough.
But even Tony La Russa said, he did a talk after your documentary on MLB Network came out, and he said, that guy sat there for 2 hours and answered every question from every reporter after that pitch, and that impressed him so much.
Maybe I just did it to, just take it. You got to take it to feel it, to grieve it. And that's a long ways to grieving after that, but initially, that was my instinct. It wasn't like we can remember nowadays. They just go up in the thing and you go talk to the press, right? You go up to the thing and everybody asks questions and that's it. No, we're in Dodger Stadium visiting the place, and everybody was, they wanted to get in their lockers. The guys are trying to take showers and get out, and there was 200 of them at my locker, one at a time. Backdoor slider, backdoor slider, backdoor slider. But when it was all over, said and done, that's the right thing. It was the right thing to do. I'm proud of it. The moments like that make you, it's who you are,
When you look at those A's teams of the late 80s and early 90s, do you think, how did we only win one World Series?
Yeah.
I mean, the roster was so absurdly
Stacked.
loaded with McGuire and Canseco and Ricky and your pitching. I mean, it was just...
God, I was...
Just nuts.
I was, something. This comes at a time in your life, those moments, when I had already been in the big leagues 12, 14 years. You know what I'm saying? So I could really appreciate that. It wasn't like I just came up and now I'm Rookie of the Year and we just go to the World Series and all that, quickly. It took a while. And so I really appreciated all that time. But like you said, we only won once? We were the best team in the game 3 years, without a doubt. The best team in the game. And I felt such pride being on that team. You know what I mean? Not that. I'm from Oakland. You know what I mean? We had Ricky and Stu and me and Seiko and me. We had studs, man. We could pitch, we could hit, we could field. And Tony, the genius.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Dave Duncan, one of the greatest pitching coaches. I mean, that's a special time, man. We're
still
lucky. We
remember-
should have just won 3.
I still remember being in Cincinnati and we're watching the series unfold, and you guys, you're down and everybody is still thinking, there's no way the A's lose. I mean, even if you're down 0-3, whatever, they're going to come back and win that series. And we're just like, what? What happened?
Anybody could lose. That's what it comes down to. When some guys have got it going on, it's all timing, man. The time of the season, bam, you got to put it together when the time's right. And, usually it's one pitcher that could do it to you. Whether it's Hershiser, he won a couple of games in that series. And that series in 90 was Rio. Remember Jose Rio?
Yes.
Two good games. One pitcher could nail you. That's how that goes.
Looking back
That's
at
my
that,
excuse.
that roster, the personalities you had in that clubhouse, are there stories you can share with us that you're allowed to share? I mean, some of the funnier or just crazier moments with some of those guys. I mean, guys like Canseco and Ricky and company.
Yeah, Ricky, all the Ricky stories. Ricky's in his own world,
Yeah.
He also speaks his own language,
He
by
does.
the way.
That's a tip. I don't know that language.
Yeah.
He's a great dude, man. He was tough when you played with him because now he's a different guy. I think a lot of guys are different now than when they don't play. But anyway, back to that team. I remember Tony Phillips left, but Tony Phillips was a nut. I mean, there's a few guys who did, the big names that you don't know that were a big part of that chemistry and stuff. Dave Parker was a big part of that chemistry. Carney was a big part of it because he was Mr. Serious.
Very stern, right?
Red ass, every day, you need that.
Yeah.
But you got to lighten up a little bit too.
Sure.
But, I was tempered back then. First of all, I got the ball every day maybe, and I had to be like that. And I didn't drink. I didn't drink. These guys are having a gay old time, and I'm not drinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do I miss that? Not really, because, sobriety is more important.
Absolutely.
So I could probably have better stories if I was drinking. You know what I mean?
So how hard was that for you at that time? Because alcohol almost ended your career, and not to mention possibly your life and everything else that you'd worked for. How hard is that today?
Well, it's there. It's always there, Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not, But you're vigilant about the whole thing. You have to be, or you're not going to stay sober. But listen, everything outweighs everything. As far as like being sober or not, that's it. This is it. There's no other way. And I have the wonderful life like I have now because of it. So when I look back, I'm just, saying I probably would have been a lot more. I would have been on the crazy bus.
There was a lot of guys on that team that were either riding on that bus or driving that bus.
But I don't know. I'm just grateful of those times. I really am.
Yeah, and I know that you have contributed and helped create a rehabilitation center for people that's still open today, right?
Yeah, in Cleveland. I mean, I'm proud of that too. To give back like that. Something that you really care about, and then you see people change their lives. Help guys. Because this isn't. Not everybody gets sober the first time. Sometimes some guys take a long time, and you have to have patience with them. And I can see how it would be difficult. But to give guys, halfway house and give them a chance to get it together. So it's not, and I carried this on from somebody else that had passed away. So I'm happy doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think people, whether they're in the stands watching a game, and especially if you watch on TV because we're removed from it, understand the stress that a major league athlete, whatever the sport may be, because all eyes are on you. I mean, think about the situation where you're either on the mound and give it up, or you strike out with the bases loaded or something like that, and everybody is watching you. I mean, that's why these guys are so highly compensated, but the stress and dealing with that day to day has to be significant.
Well, something, and you start, especially with nowadays with Twitter and everything, just if you ever pay attention to it, man, you got to get off of that, man. They just hammer you, But I equate it to back in the day when you're in the middle of it all, and because I played in Boston, some big places, and if you don't pitch well, and he's like, you go to you go to get some gas in your car, you're looking around, you know what I'm saying? And somebody sees you, like, you think everybody knows, yeah, you gave up a home run last night, because everybody knows what's happened with the Sox last night, So I mean, the pressure of that comes with wearing it once again, it's. you're not going to have a career you're just going to be awesome the whole time. I mean, there's just going to be some difficult moments for everyone. I don't think Willie Mays went through a lot of that. I used to think some of these guys, I wonder if the great ones really have questioned themselves and, feel the pressure. I thought it's just us humans, I don't know.
Do you find, too, it's kind of funny how when you're a closer, people don't necessarily bother you much until you do blow a game, right? I mean, how weird is that accountability factor? I mean, you could have nobody even approach you for a week until after you blow, and then all the media is all of a sudden wanting to talk to you.
Well,
right?
that's part of it. I mean, it almost becomes a given that you're going to, save the game, and so you feel it yourself. That's why you can never be off guard. You know what I mean? Just careful. Because it's precious, and the more pressure you put on yourself, but you never want to. Don't watch it. That's why you see a guy come out there with a 4-run save, 4-1 lead, and he can't pitch as same as he does when there's when you're on the edge. There's something to that.
You need the edge.
Yeah,
you need the edge.
There really is.
Now, I know that you're an advisor for the A's now, or Dave Cavill, so to speak. So what do you think of this current team as it's constructed?
You talk about the A's?
Yeah, I think right now there's kind of a lot of excitement building.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of excitement. He just won 97 games 2 years in a
in a
row.
row.
I mean, I'm expecting them to win this thing. I think Houston hopefully has lost their edge. I mean, that's what they're looking for. And, for somebody to falter, that powerhouse like that. But, the expectations are through the roof, aren't they? I mean, you got to think,
absolutely.
come on, the A's supposed to win.
Well,
right?
all last year, we made a bet.
Yes, we did.
Not a bet that has gone well for me. Just because I know he's a diehard A's fan. I mean, he just lives and dies. And so just for the hell of it, I said, all right, I'll take the Giants, you take the A's, and you give me 15 wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give him a nice spread.
So you got to win 82 if you go 97.
Yes,
right?
yes. And so for much of the season, it was kind of neck and neck. And early on, I was like, oh man.
Did you tell him what the bet was?
Well, see, he had owed me previously one of those Subway meatball subs, like a foot long. And so we said, let's go double or nothing. But the loser has to eat two at the same time. You have to just eat two. So this was a
Somebody's
serious.
going to get sick.
Exactly. No, there was a lot on the line here. And so this year, I lost, ate the thing, and whatever. So this year, I want 25 games.
He wants an even bigger spread.
What do you think, 105?
Well, no, I'm worried about the Giants.
That's what I meant.
You
just want to play 500. If you play 500,
no, I don't think.
You don't think? Oh, yeah, you're right.
To 500.
So you need 25.
Yeah, no, I know. So we're negotiating on that. Yeah. It's a little rough, but
that club. I mean, there's some special guys, man. Chapman. I mean, my good. He's like Arenado. Right? They're out of the same high school, aren't they? I think.
Yeah,
right?
They are.
And the kid Olsen over there at first.
First.
Simeon, what a year he had. I mean, are you short somewhere in the outfield maybe?
They got a zillion outfielders.
Maybe second base.
Second base,
biggest question, but they're stacked.
And the young kid behind the plate?
Yeah. Oh,
right?
He's amazing, Sean Murphy.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And now we go to the pitching staff, and
There's
starters
loaded as
seem
ever.
better, but the kid just got hurt with the lefty with the
AJ
long
Puck,
hair.
Yeah, AJ Puck. Well, but all year long, like last year, he kept saying, when Luzardo comes back, when Puck comes back, when
Manaea comes back, etc.
Last year, they won 97 games with a patchwork starting rotation.
Yes,
this year, you could almost pick a starter out of a hat and have somebody who's a potential stud in day one.
And Melvin doesn't get the credit.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
He's incredible.
He is incredible. I mean, to work under that, it's kind of difficult, I would think. I don't know. I'm guessing. I think it's difficult. I mean, that's baseball nowadays anyway.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because, back in the day, did anybody ever talk to you about spin rate, exit velocity, launch
I was just
angle,
reading this morning.
any of that stuff?
No.
But you didn't. You just okay, I see him right there, and I'm going to paint the corner right there, and then you're going to be wearing a pair of shoes.
It makes it simple. No, but I was just looking at it today, this morning. Jason Stark wrote something. I think it was Jason Stark.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking about all the spin rates, or it wasn't him, somebody else. Anyway, and because I feel like I'm missing something. I want to be on top of this game, this baseball, and they're talking about spin rates and basically they're just designing their pitches, right? And I know that's probably helpful in real time, but if you get caught up too much in it, right? make sure you stay on top of that breaking ball, your top finger, right? Because you're trying to get some depth in that breaking ball, and pretty much they're helping you to. This is the best you could be if you do this, right?
Right.
And if you're trying to tweak something and it's not working, but to me, there's a lot going on, isn't it?
That's what I say. It's got to start messing with you when you're pitching.
I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
You got to compete. You've got to execute, isn't it all? Execute. You're like a robot, and to put all that, because to me, it was feel, But then this is not feel anymore. You go look at the video, and then it shows you exactly where you are. There's a lot to this that I don't really get, but they're just trying to make pitchers better in real time. I'm just trying to think, how could they have made me better?
Well,
I don't know.
There's
if
a couple
much
of
to
seasons
improve.
where there was the 5 runs you gave up in 1990. I mean, that's kind of
No, but I meant because you can't make a pitch you can't throw.
right.
I mean, I wish I had a changeup. I wish I would have had, like that, but I couldn't throw that, So I guess you're just going to make your breaking ball as good as it can be, and they tell you,
Would you have wanted to know if, like, you can go back, like, what's the spin rate on your slider? Would you want to know that? Like,
it's like, oh my God, it's horrible. So don't
Like-
throw it.
like
I mean,
you know-
go get back in your pocket. I don't know. So I don't know enough of it to have a conversation about it, But we'll figure it out, Because you have to have something when you ask these guys, what's going on, man? What are you tweaking with? What's going on? I would just like to see. And now we could talk about the video rooms and stuff like that. Jesus.
No, you guys had video back
Yeah,
then, though, right?
right.
I mean, would batters go back into the clubhouse to look at their last at bat?
I think they started to at the end when I
Yeah,
played. That's
okay.
back in '98. But obviously, that's a big part of it now. They want to go back and see their at bat, or say that was a strike on the outside corner, and I'm going to yell at the umpire.
Right,
No.
right.
But they need that. I know that some guy, J.D. Martinez, was squawking saying they better not take that whole thing out there so I can't see, because some guys really, I mean, nowadays everybody lives by that,
Right.
But you don't, just give them an 8-second delay, obviously. But to totally, they might just say, get it all out, all the video out, right?
It's hard to, once technology arrives, it's hard to go backwards when you
Yeah.
have these things.
Right.
I mean, it's like replaying sports, whether it's football or whatever. Now we have the replay, and so you can correct calls, but some are uncorrectable, and there's a whole list of rules as to what is correctable
Yeah.
and what you see it one way and I see it the other way. I don't know if you've seen any of the XFL games.
I look just briefly.
So I love the fact that they, like, the guy who's doing the replay, he's like, oh man, this is so close. Oh, he's not, like, because you're doing that at home. Like,
Yeah.
that part I like. Obviously, when teams and players are taking advantage of it, and Okay.
Yeah, no, that's-
that means he asked the next question when I did.
yeah.
Put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Who's a player that I know you broadcast for the Boston Red Sox, so you watch a ton of the baseball. So who's like a pitcher you really like to watch?
Well, on our club,
Any club.
I love Chris Sale.
Yeah,
Was the best. I mean, he came from here, that little funky stuff, man, and he's just lights out. It's like you think he's unhittable.
Mm-hmm.
He had an off year last year, and now with the arm trouble.
Yeah.
But he's special. This guy has had 8 good years. I mean, 8 years, good years. Oh, this guy's a Hall of Famer. To watch him dominate like that, and then back in the day it was Pedro, But this now, I think about the player. The Red Sox, they just lost Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that to me was a great guy to watch. This guy's to watch him play every day. That's when you tell how good somebody is. You can't, on other teams, you don't see a guy every day. You don't know what he's capable of. But he's going to be tough for the Dodgers. I mean, they're just going to make them that much better.
A's Dodgers sounds like a series that might be
Yes.
pretty intriguing.
Yeah, it does.
In October, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's really possible.
I do too.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
do too.
You're probably going to have to come back out.
Oh
and-
no! You have to throw the first pitch again.
Yeah, no, I just flashed on
Oh,
that.
yeah,
I was like,
I don't know about that.
yeah, just like
Yeah.
relive some memories. You'd probably get so tired of hearing about that.
What's that? The
With
Dodger thing?
The Dodger thing with the Gibson and all that.
Yeah,
It
it's
gets-
kind of played its course, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think.
I'm curious because somebody asked me to ask you about this.
Mm-hmm.
With all the awards that you've won, what memorabilia do you keep, and where do you keep it in your house? Like, what do you have on
special
display?
things?
Yeah, the special stuff. What do you have? If you had a trophy case, you almost have to have another house for all.
No. I've got a nice gloating room. That's what I call it.
You
I
do?
love it.
Yeah, I do. And I wish now, after the fact, that I had collected more things, but it wasn't as, not at the time, it wasn't that big a deal. Memorabilia like it is now.
Yeah.
But there's certain guys that I played with, Yaz. And I remember playing with Reggie his last year. Some, special players over the years. And then the guys that, Ricky and, great players. It's just over the years. I wish I had collected more, but.
So what's in the gloating room? What's in the gloating room?
Just me everywhere.
Oh, it's
No, you know what I mean.
Is it pictures or
Yes,
is it
all kinds of stuff. World
Trophies, the World Series.
Yeah.
Where's the ring?
Oh, the rings. In fact, I got to get them. They're in the safe deposit box.
Okay.
Because you don't wear them.
Yeah, they're huge.
They're
I only have one, but
Yeah.
really, it matters. But you just don't wear them.
How often do you visit the gloating room?
I'm in it. That's my office.
Oh,
Nice.
so that's every day you're in the gloating room.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think if somebody comes in, it's not a big deal,
I just
because
looked the
nobody
title.
comes to my house. It's just me. I'm the only one gloating. It's not like I'm there. Come on over.
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
this. Look at me.
Look at this.
Look at me.
It's my new life goal is to have a gloating room now.
No, that's fantastic. I
Yeah,
like that.
It does. It's like a big party. It's 25 years of my life.
Yeah.
And you get away from it for a long time, and part of you glad it's over. That whole rat race of trying to perform, but something else kicks in, and now it's doing TV.
Do you feel when you do television like it can't equate to the nervousness that you'd get on the mound in a big game or something like that?
No.
But what do you feel inside? Do you feel something like I don't want to screw this up? Because I still do. I still like, oh, okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Don't do anything stupid.
Exactly. You have to be careful.
Yes.
But you have to be comfortable and free to and authentic. And if you get too authentic, you get in trouble.
Yes.
Right?
You have to self-edit.
Yes. And it comes with age, I guess.
You just have to go up there and just offer up some verbal easy cheese.
Easy cheese.
Easy
yeah.
cheese.
But
Easy
something,
cheese.
you don't get the kind of, baseball, they're not all great games. So it becomes a lot of downtime, right? And then you have downtime, then you go places that you didn't think you were going to go. Because it's 3 hours and 4 hours.
Yeah,
for
Red
a
Sox
game.
play a lot of long games.
Yes.
They do.
Yes.
Next
Yeah.
thing you know, you guys are chirping about. Luckily, you have the guy doing the play-by-play that keeps things in order, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't just chit-chat like this,
Yeah.
and next thing you know, you get in trouble.
Well, but I think that's part of the fun, and that's why Kruk and Kuiper's so good, because they'll see somebody in the stands doing something, or somebody out in the cove
Yeah.
or whatever, and just go off on this tangent.
Yes.
That's so entertaining.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is a baseball game. That's right. I was watching the guy barbecuing in the cove,
Yeah.
on a raft.
Because we're trying to sell this baseball stuff, and it's not just the game, right? It's got to be
Entertainment?
Yeah.
You got anything else? Because we could.
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could probably talk forever, but we don't need to. I wanted to ask you, though, the A's have done a good job lately, especially of embracing their history. That has sort of given you a big head in a way. Have you seen that Hall of Fame race?
Oh,
And
yeah.
would you ever
I've taken a picture
get
with
in
the
that
guy.
thing? I mean,
And
I
go
think it would
and
be
run?
amazing if
Yeah, I'd pull a
Ricky and
hammy.
you surprised and actually
Yeah.
showed up.
So
in
you
one
mean
of
like
those.
when the
like
big
actually
hits-
have him run and then you pull it off and it's actually you? That'd be so funny.
No, but I saw the kid. He's not that fast. I mean,
I've run in it before.
Have you really?
Yes.
so they let you do that?
They let me do it.
Huh.
I actually was in the Ricky costume and then I finished third like a dope, so I made Ricky look bad.
Are you going as fast as you can?
What's that?
Do they tell you who's supposed to win?
No,
Just
no.
go.
I just sucked. I was so slow. There's like 35 pounds.
I mean, really?
If you lean at all, it takes you with it.
Whoa, I
Yeah,
didn't even know
so
that.
It's a little crazy. But, I mean,
Well,
what
that's-
do you think about how weird and kind of cool in a way that is?
The guy's not very pretty. I mean, it's not real flattering. You know what I mean? He's got the moss going, but at the same time, I mean, who has a head running around like that? It's kind of nice.
Yeah, what do you
Yeah.
think of possibilities for a new stadium for the A's?
I've
after
been
all these
begging for a
years?
long time. I thought they were going to go to Fremont. 'cause
Yeah,
I'm from Fremont,
yeah.
so I was all
Yeah.
psyched. That was about 2009.
Yes.
Meanwhile, here we are, 11 years later. I still have hopes that it's going to happen anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I hope it happens just so that they can, first of all, have
They deserve it.
a better, certainly,
Yeah.
have just a better game day experience, but also to be able to keep the young stars. I mean, you want to be able to keep both, both Matts. You want to be able to keep Semien. You want to be, I mean, you look at Laureano and all these young stars that they have for the future. You want to be able to keep those guys so you're not like constantly churning through. So I hope they can get it done in a reasonable amount of time.
And as soon as they say that, how many years is it going to take?
Usually, well,
probably like three tops.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Matt Chapman is coming up. How much time's he got till he's a free agent? A couple years?
He's got a good few years left.
3?
But yeah, I mean, because he's got his arbitration years and stuff.
So here you go.
And that's the other thing is none of these guys nowadays want to sign those deals that extend you
past
your arbitration. Because if Matt Chapman hits free agency the way he's playing, I mean, he could be the next $300 million.
You're talking to me,
player.
man. When one more pitch and your arm falls off, give me the deal. I'm
just
taking it.
Take the millions immediately.
Seriously.
Before we let you go, Larry had found something the other day. He sent it to me called the Eck-tionary. I just want to see if just because there's so many fun ones.
You like educated salad?
Educated
salad is
That's like throwing the guy, like a lefty, soft tossing lefty that gets guys out, like Moyer. That's salad. That's like
back
salad.
in the day. Jump Street.
It's tired cheese. That's just from the get-go.
Tired cheese. What's branch work?
That's like, you get lucky. You know what I'm saying? The guy's living in the branches. In other words, he's holding on tight.
Okay, so up in a tree.
The luckier he gets, the higher he gets up in that tree, and then that's a long ways down.
How'd you come up with going bridge?
I don't know. Go to the bridge. Go over the bridge.
Okay.
And then it becomes and then Bridge Master is a home run pitcher that gives up home runs.
A bridge master?
Or
so
you
don't want to be a bridge master.
You don't want to be a bridge master.
Okay, all right. And you got to be careful with Johnson. Because,
Johnson's all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's it's a 3-run Johnson. There's not a 2-run Johnson.
Oh, it has to be a 3-run Johnson?
It's got to be a 3-run Johnson. Because
Okay.
it's a slam, 3-run Johnson, 2-run is nothing. It's a solo piece, right?
Lamb. So I'd be a lamb. If I face you, I'd be a lamb.
You're a lamb.
I'd be a
You
lamb.
know a lamb is.
Yeah.
You got
But
no chance.
explain it for everybody else.
Poor bastard's got no chance.
a lamb going to the wolves.
Yeah.
And iron.
Iron's money. Everybody's got something for money. Iron, I just stuck.
Wow.
Got big iron. I need more iron, so that's why I'm still working.
Yeah, that's why I tell my boss I need more iron. He says, "Here, I got these vitamins for you." Yeah, you said you need more iron.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I mean, I'm so glad that I ran into you.
It's supposed to happen.
Glad that you were so gracious with your time.
Sure.
And Rusty the dog quieted down.
Yeah.
And, we got him taken care of.
Rusty muzzled.
Yeah. You have one last A's fanboy question? Because you grew up worshiping this man.
Yeah, I have a story I could tell you.
Okay.
This is a quick one, but when I was a kid, I remember we had dinner one night in Danville, Mercantile. Mercantile? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, whatever.
Anyways,
The
wood
livery.
sidewalks,
Yeah,
livery.
Right.
So I know after dinner, my parents just kind of let me run around, and I remember walking around the sidewalk. I ran into you.
Really?
And I said hi to you. Obviously, I was probably
Get out of
crazy
here,
ass nervous. Said, "Get out of here, lamb." No, but you couldn't.
Little lamb.
You couldn't have been nicer.
Oh, that's
You couldn't
nice.
have been nicer. And I know they say things like, don't meet your heroes or people you follow. But I mean, I came away really impressed with you.
Cool.
And that
That's
was
nice.
just a genuine moment.
Yeah, that's
It wasn't
nice.
like no cameras, no nothing. But you're
Yeah.
just a really good guy.
I
So
cringe when people
I
start
appreciate
telling
that.
a story like that.
I appreciate it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What I get now is a lot of, I've been watching you my entire life, and I just go, thank you. But or do you remember I met you at? And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Was I a jerk?
But
that day?
but once again, you don't forget. When I saw it, I don't forget.
Yeah, I know. When we locked eyes, it was like, oh my God! It's almost like we were right back at the Coliseum, and it was a game, and I was watching you do your thing, and
And I respect you.
Yeah.
I respect what you do. And,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're
I
very
mean,
welcome.
we could talk for hours and
thank you.
hours.
Appreciate it.
It's a blast.
Hope it comes out good.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. With authority.